Alright, so the question is, and we're still being silly, having some fun here. If your house was on fire and you could only grab three things, what would they be? And assuming that, my wife and my child aren't things for these purposes, it would be my laptop for sure. I don't know if my external hard drive counts as an object, but that, and this camera. Again, it would be hard to leave my books, man. I mean, it'd be hard to leave my books. There's probably one or two that would need to come with me, but I guess it depends on how fast the fire is approaching. But definitely the laptop. Laptop's my lifeline, this camera is my lifeline, and this external hard drive. That probably would be my three things, yeah. What's the best place near you to get a drink? I don't really drink much, period. And when I do, I never really drink in bars. And I'll tell you why. Because the same Jack Daniels that costs $9 a drink at the bar costs, $10 for the entire bottle at the supermarket. Like, it never made much sense to me to pay like a 300 or 400% markup on the exact same product. Never made any sense to me. But if I had to choose a place, I would say it's Barney's Beanery in downtown Burbank, because that's where I go to watch a lot of the UFC fights. So go, have a beer, eat some food. That's where I would go. Barney's Beanery. Again, Barney's Beanery plug. Look at all this free advertising I'm giving away. Is anybody out there advertising free for me? Advertising my website, peacelovemoney.com. Advertising the fact that, I'm a life coach, that I've written a book, 49 Lost Secrets of Peace, Love, and Money, that I've done PDFs, podcasts, guided meditations, all kinds of things that are up on my website, peacelovemoney.com. No, nobody's doing that. Can't imagine why. Let's see here. Again, these are questions that have been submitted to me through formspring.me/B Dave Walters. Formspring.me/B Dave Walters. Okay. No www. You can ask me anything. You can ask me serious stuff, of course, about relationships, spirituality, and those things I write articles about or do entire episodes dedicated to. But this is just some of the things that we've had that I never had time to answer in the past. Don't really see how I'm going to write an article about this one, but you never know. I'm crafty. What's one food you'll never eat again? Probably baklava. Baklava. It's Greek. I last had it in the 6th grade, so that means I was about 12. And I think I ate it once and it made me sick. Yeah, well, baklava. That's something that comes to mind. I'm sure there's more, but that's one thing that definitely comes to mind quickly. So, I mean, I haven't had that in, half a lifetime, and I'm just like, no. So apparently left quite an impression. What TV show do you wish would go off the air for good? Actually just happened. I would say Heroes, believe it or not. And I hate that because I was a huge Heroes fan. I even stuck with them when it started to get crappy, because the first season of Heroes is like some of the best television ever made. If you can go and rent the first season DVD somewhere, go rent the first season of Heroes. It is some of the most brilliant television and storytelling ever. And then the next season, they were like, wow, Heroes is so popular, let's maximize our profits by slashing the budget for each episode. So the second season is a superhero show where the superheroes never use their powers. Then the writer's strike hit, and it just kind of went downhill from there, and they just pulled the plug on it. So I wish Heroes had kind of, been put to sleep a little bit earlier. Next to Heroes, since it's already done, I'm not much of a hater. I don't feel the need to take things away from other people, so I don't know. Heroes, for sure, though. Because anything I don't like, I just don't watch. But I realize other people like it. Actually, I don't really watch much TV at all. In fact, I don't watch TV, period. Sometimes I watch DVDs. I'll put it on for like mood music, but it's been a while since I really sat down and watched TV. But if there's something that you want to see, there's a great website, since I'm doing all this free advertising, called Cast. Like the cast of a TV show? CastTV.com. Specifically casttv.com/shows. They got a lot of things on there, like even stuff that's like from Hulu and places. You can find almost anything on casttv.com/shows. And yes, I really do have an answer for everything. Who is the most underrated athlete? Most underrated athlete is pretty much anybody any MMA people, honestly. Especially if they don't fight for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Some of those people in the UFC are starting to get, real name recognition now. Like, you've probably heard of, you know, the Iceman Chuck Liddell, probably heard of Rampage Jackson, since he's about to be in the A-Team movie. But anybody that puts on the gloves and goes inside the cage, I mean, that's a tough sport, man. It's hard. It's hard on your body. It's hard to train for. It's hard mentally. It's hard physically. There's a lot of complex skills you got to be taken care of. If you think it's just, you know, two people wailing on each other, it's not. It's actually like a very elaborate game of chess. Way more so than boxing. Boxing. Right. So anybody who does MMA in any promotion, especially one of the smaller ones, are all underrated. If I have to pick a specific individual, You know, the problem is I like a lot of guys that are kind of past their prime now, so I don't know if it's underrated when you used to be awesome and you kind of keep getting knocked out now, so I'll just stick with that answer. Oh, okay. What's one thing you own that you should probably throw away but never will? I have a bench upstairs that when I was little, probably around 5, I was running through the house and my sister tripped me. She tripped me on purpose, might I add. And I fell and hit my head on this bench and cut my eye. So I have a scar over my eye, like almost everybody does, right up here. And I had to get stitches and everything, and I have a scar. So I still have this bench now. So this bench is like 30, 40 years old, but I've sworn that this bench will serve me for all eternity for what it did to me. I will never throw that bench away until it just collapses from decay, or I'm buried and I take it with me to the next life. That bench, yeah. But when Lexi was born, I actually put all these like safety bumpers around it, so that, like, to stop it from happening to her again, because if it drew blood, you know, twice of my family, then I would just take a chainsaw to it. But in the meantime, it can't hurt anybody else. But that bench, okay, it's kind of like a settee, you know, goes down at the end of the bed, you know what I mean. What's one, oh, okay, I just answered that one. Alright, let's see here. Pulling up some more. This is how many questions I get. So if you've asked me a question and there's ever been a delay in response, I'm sorry, but if you submit a question to formspring.me/bdavewalters, I promise you on a stack of Bibles I will answer your question. It'll either be in an article, in a video, or I'll answer it directly and it'll just post and notify you. What was the most interesting place you've traveled to? Most interesting, when I was an exchange student in Germany. Didn't know I was an exchange student in Germany, did you? And I was once fluent in German, but I'm not anymore. But I was an exchange student over there when I was in high school. And we went to Neuschwanstein, which is King Ludwig's castle. It's the castle that the Disney castle is based off of. That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. He and I just had like identical tastes. And apparently he was like this giant dude. I think he was really only like 6'6", but in like 16th, 17th century Germany, that made you a pretty big guy. So everything in his place was like oversized and huge. Like his bed was huge, the rooms were huge. Each room, a friend of his was a composer, and so each room had a musical theme to it, to an opera. And so he got students from the local college to come in and paint scenes on the walls of every room. So every room told a story. And you came in and you could just like look along the walls and you'd see like this whole narrative play out for you. Just the most amazing thing. In addition to all kinds of other stuff there. But Neuschwanstein, the castle in Germany. Am I a morning or a night person? This person must not know me very well. I am a night person. If left to my own devices, I become basically fully nocturnal. In fact, when I was a bodyguard, we would go to bed at 6 in the morning and we wake up at 3 p.m. That was our day. I mean, there was entire days, especially during the wintertime, that I never saw the sun, which actually wears on you after a little while. But I'm definitely a night person. The hardest part for me is getting out of bed. If I can make it out of bed, I'm fine. Like, Charlene takes a while to boot up. Like, she'll be up, but she's still all like grumpy and stuff for the first hour if she wakes up. If I can depart the bed, if I can brush my teeth actually, then I'm awake like it's no big deal. Doesn't matter if I slept an hour or 10. Okay. Running out of time, so if I get this in here. What video game have you played the most? I don't really game like I used to, but definitely World of Warcraft. Before World of Warcraft, it was EverQuest. I used to be a huge gamer, but then martial arts kicked in and I kind of started living it rather than playing it. Last one. If you were given a brand new yacht, what would you name it? The Live Forever. And my Simpsons friends should, any Simpsons fans should get that one. Mendoza. If you want to know what I'm talking about, send me another question. So, you're great. I love you. B. Dave Walters. Facebook, MySpace, Twitter. Find me anywhere. Okay, bye-bye.